Welcome to this masterclass series on Anticipatory, Cyber, and Digital Diplomacy for African Diplomats, brought to you by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Nigeria. Today's distinguished speaker, Ambassador Tanel Sepp, Ambassador at Large for Cyber Diplomacy, Digital and Cyber Diplomacy Department, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Estonia. Together, we explore the future of diplomacy, powered by Consultancy Support Services, CS2 Limited.
Hello, my name is Tanel Sepp, and currently I am Estonia's Ambassador at Large for Digital and Cyber Diplomacy. First of all, please accept my apologies for not being able to attend this event in person. However, I would still like to take some minutes of your time and cover a couple of topics that are relevant today. Let me start with threats and threat awareness. We're all in the same boat. Cybersecurity has become a mainstream topic. It does not matter whether you are a student, a diplomat, a factory worker, a politician, a teacher. We are all facing cyber threats. The threats might vary, and some of us might be targeted more than others. The times where only the wealthy companies or individuals were compromised are over, and the chances of all of us being victims are higher, especially with the growing use of new technologies like artificial intelligence or with easier ways to purchase malware on the dark web. No one is safe, and we all need to constantly be aware of the threats we face. I'm quite certain that either you, yourself, or someone from your immediate family or circle of friends have had, for example, their mailboxes taken over. In Estonia, we have witnessed already for some years also politically motivated cyber attacks. In a dark humor manner, I could say that it was great that we suffered nationwide cyber attacks in 2007. This event made our political leadership really think about cybersecurity issues and also find necessary resources. In today's Estonia, 100% of the services that the government provides are digital, which means that our need to provide reliant cybersecurity has become a security policy issue. It is of course tied also with a need to work on the international environment, as no country is here alone. Cybersecurity is a team sport, where every individual counts. This high-level seminar on Anticipatory, Cyber and Digital Diplomacy is part of this team sport. With your new skills, new contacts, new understandings, you are kind of becoming cyber ambassadors yourselves. Let me stress some additional points. First, one of the main challenges that I face on a daily basis is how to translate or interpret what is happening in the cyberspace to my leaders. I am a humble diplomat and not at all a techie. Rather, I'm a diplomat with somewhat geeky interests, but still a simple diplomat. And believe me, my bosses are even more diplomats. This, however, means that in case there is a significant development in cyberspace or we are facing some serious cyber attacks, I am the person who needs to deliver the news, and for this, I need to translate the situation in cyberspace into a language that my bosses, the politicians, understand. There is no point in telling them about some systems were scanned, or some ports compromised, or some addresses spoofed. No, what matters is what are the functional consequences of these situations. Whether you lose access to some crucial set of data, whether someone has stolen your data, whether it is safe to continue operating in the business you're in, etc. Second, next to overall cybersecurity literacy, exercises and trainings have a very important role to play. These give to all of us opportunities to test our skills, to practice cooperation with our closer partners, to see what we can do with some not so close partners, to test whether our procedures for emergencies work, or do we need to adjust our policies? It is always cheaper to exercise than face the consequences on the real battlefield. Not least, exercising vulnerabilities allow us to pinpoint our own weaknesses and bring out also the costs of inaction. Third, we are all linked on the web. We all need to have a common understanding of the threats and the ways these threats work. We have a lot to do in this regard, namely to share information and experiences. While information exchange has become a mantra of almost any international meeting or a conference dealing with cybersecurity, we have not still achieved the desired outcome. One can assume that there is still not enough trust between different partners to share the necessary information, or the amount of information is continuously expanding that it is difficult to filter out the important bits. Estonia has taken here a very open approach. Our National Cybersecurity Center is sharing as much as possible. For us, it is not a zero-sum game where giving out information means that you lose something. Instead, sharing information benefits us all. This was evident also already years ago when Estonia started its cybersecurity journey. Our banking sector was the first one to pay more attention to threats in cyberspace. With common threats, they agreed that they can be competitors on financial market, but they should be partners in cyberspace and share information because they all face the same threats. If one bank faced some cyber attacks, other banks were surely to be also targeted. Today, we can see this notion emerging also with a larger cybersecurity market. Creating threat awareness is something that cannot be created suddenly out of the blue. It takes a lot of effort and many partners. It is based on trust. We all have also our own specialties, mostly the knowledge about our own neighborhood. It becomes more relevant in situations where cybersecurity is intertwined with geopolitical developments. Geography and politics matters no matter how borderless the cyberspace itself is. We can always benefit in learning from each other on what our neighbors are up to. Esteemed participants of the seminar, let me say a couple of points about this current international situation in cyberspace. For us, 2025 is a year of values. Estonia is currently presiding the Freedom Online Coalition, an international initiative that was formed in order to promote democratic values in internet governance and management. What we are fighting for is a free, open, secure, inclusive, accessible internet that takes into account our globally shared goals, like the Sustainable Development Goals. As you are all aware, the geopolitical situation today is not the same as before. There is a lot of unpredictability that is coupled with a tense, values-based confrontation in the world. While I will not go into detailed analysis of how the US new political masterminds are conducting their policies, it is clear that in 2025 we are seeing much more tension also in cybersecurity, supply chain issues, and overall international relations. Here, I would like to flag two crucial international processes that we pay a lot of attention to. Firstly, the mandate of the only global forum for discussing cybersecurity matters, the Open-Ended Working Group, will end this July. And we do not know today how the work that we all have put a lot of effort to will be continued. There are many political standoffs between various blocs. For example, one of these is about the need to start negotiating a legally binding instrument for cybersecurity. There are some countries that insist on it. However, Estonia, along with many others, is saying that we already have international law that is applicable in cyberspace. Also, the African Union has issued its own statement on this. Another example is on the multi-stakeholder approach, or how we can engage the private sector, academia, and the civil society in our discussions. There is a lot of expertise in these groups that we would benefit from. However, we have an opposition that refuses to recognize this expertise and doesn't want to allow them even to enter the room. For us, it is clear that internet and cybersecurity cannot be business only for the states. Another key process this year is linked to the internet governance. After every 10 years, the world community comes together to review the principles on how the internet is governed. For a country as dependent on stable internet as Estonia, also this discussion is of utmost importance. However, we can see the same trends also here, with some countries insisting more state control in internet governance, while we are fighting for the current democratic principles based on multi-stakeholder approach. For Estonia and many other countries, Russia's unprovoked and illegal war against Ukraine is also posing many lessons to be learned and implemented, especially how the Ukrainian digital nation has resisted the war aggression through Russia's kinetic and cyber offensive. This war is an evidence for the future, how future conflicts will be fought, how cyber tools will be used for the benefit of military aggression. Cyber has become an integrated tool in modern warfare. Ukraine has been our top priority in terms of assistance because this is in our neighborhood and also our own security depends on it. At the same time, we've been very active also in providing cybersecurity related assistance because of the unprecedented role of cyber attacks in the overall aggression. Be aware, we should all think how resistant our own services are in case we are facing the malicious intentions of our adversaries, and what are the consequences in case our systems stop working. Will we be as resistant as proven by the heroic Ukrainians? Are we learning these valuable lessons? How are we adapting this new reality in our strategic documents? I cannot end this short introduction without mentioning also the artificial intelligence that is becoming a cross-cutting theme in all sectors of our societies. In Estonia, we have been firm believers of technology. Our own success is based on making bold decisions on adopting innovative governance systems. With our elaborate e-governance system that is built upon the principle of controlled data exchange between different services, we have created all the necessary conditions to integrate the AI into our governance systems. Of course, we need to retain here the human control. However, we shouldn't be afraid of making again these bold decisions in places where technology could truly assist us to govern better and more efficiently. For this, the President of Estonia, Mr. Alar Karis, announced on 24th of February a new program, the AI Leap, that will integrate AI in our educational system through tailored teaching methods. AI is here to stay, and in any case we want to be part of this development story, we need to educate the whole society, starting with the youth. At the same time, we need to move on with AI developments with security in our minds, as new opportunities also come with new challenges, and we need to make sure that security is already built in the design phase. Another challenge here is how to make sure that the AI and other technology developments are inclusive and accessible worldwide, and that people in Estonia and in Nigeria and elsewhere could benefit from this. Dear friends, these were some, not all, of the hot topics in cyber diplomacy. I hope these thoughts were useful for your further discussions. Once again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to address you online.